Hello there, my name is Ismaus, and so I'm working on this scene here. It's like a space tunnel or something, sci-fi space tunnel, and I want to add this spaceship here into that tunnel, but I also want to to give it some like jet fire, and this is the story for that. That's what I'm going to be showing you how to do. I don't want to do any smoke simulation. I just want to use textures to create something that looks like fire here, or like fire jetting out of these engines. So let's see how we can approach that. So the first thing I want to do is just add a circle. I think we can use around 12 vertices. Should be enough. If we smoothen it out, it should look fantastic. And I'm not sure if I should make this elongated to the length of this, or actually I think I could just use this edge ring here, shift D to duplicate it, and then P, separate it. Seems to have a subdivision surface. I don't need that. I'm just going to remove this material and first turn off some of the effects here so that the screen is a bit faster here. And what I'm going to do is extrude this on the x-axis. So this is going to be our jet fire. If I get rid of some of these small details that we don't need. Yes, I think that's okay. Now let's create a gradient going from transitioning from this side to left, from left to right. So let me first add a new material and then add a texture, gradient texture. Now I can see that the gradient is coming from, I think, from this side to this side. So I just need to flip that, use object coordinate mapping, and rotate this. Let's try 90 degrees. And yeah, so I think this is it, but it needs to be rotated the other way around. So let's rotate this by 90 degrees again. Okay, no, okay, I think 180 degrees. Yeah, so we have a gradient coming from this side, from the left to right. I'm just going to add a car ramp around here, convert car ramp, and add a math node around here. Change the operation to power so that we can control the gradient. I can see it's becoming a bit sharp or a bit strong. I can scale it up to make it more transitional, and maybe bring it back a bit like that. That looks great, I think. Now we also want to add in some streaks. So let's start with a noise texture. This noise texture here, and I also want it to be using object coordinate mapping, but I think this mapping's just fine. I don't need to touch it. Remember, adding extra nodes just adds on the computation power. You know what? Actually, we need those because I want to make them stretched. So let's stretch them on the, let's try y-axis. Yeah, something like, not too much, just something like that. Let's add a car ramp, and then let's get this, then use a math node again. I'm just going to duplicate this and subtract or add depending on what we need. So let's try multiply, see. Let's try add. About power. Yeah, I think this is great. We don't want these white lines to clip on this mesh. So let's play with this gradient just a bit. Okay, not that. You can add Let's try subtract, add. Can even just move the gradient. Nice. Let's move the gradient or scale it. Control these values a bit. And if we animate this, you can see what we are trying to go for there. Now we can add in some extra noise here and get this time. Let me use a Musgrave. Make sure this is recording. Let's use Musgrave here because I want to create something like fire mixed with those streaks to blend it a bit further. Let's see. Let's try and before we mix it with this, or we can also first trim it so that it doesn't clip with the end there. You can use subtract. Let's first preview this area here, see what's going on. Okay, so this seems to be the streaks. We want the gradient, this here, to be subtracted. Yeah, so this never clips with that side. And we can add, I think we can add a month node. Just to make it closer to the edge but not clipping, like that. And now if we blend the two, we get something like that, I think, which looks better. And now we just have to mix this with can just colorize this. So let's add a color up here. With some okay, let me find a fire gradient here that we can use. Let's try blue fire. Now we can just go with regular fire and then just use a hue and saturation node to control that. Okay, this is, I don't think this format is supported. Okay, supported. So let's yeah, sample this gradient here. Make it a bit saturated. feed that into the base color and the emission color. So we want the emission to be a bit powerful, so I'm just going to add a hue and saturation node and increase the value to something like 4. Now if we preview this, we have some fire, but we still have that black areas, those black areas. So we can use this here as a mask, as an alpha mask. So I'll just bring this into the alpha and shoot that clip out. But we need to go to the materials and make sure that we have alpha blend and no shadows. Then you can see we have our fire. And if we turn on bloom, we should get something like that. No reflections. And we can even make this even stronger. Let's try 10. And then let's animate that timeline. Gate. What should we animate? I think we can animate the the X. Yeah, this is nice. We can start with that. So let me try different. That is not. Nope. This should work. Let's try. Okay. Just mirrored them using Ctrl M because they were going in the wrong direction. Now let's work animate the fire. So the fire should be, yeah, this here. Yeah, this is okay. So if we animate that too. To make this a bit faster. Okay, that's too fast. Let's try 10. Let's try 5. We have something like that. So we still have some clipping going on here, so I need to make sure that that is not happening. Let me see here. Let me first turn off this alpha blending so that we don't see that. So we still have that clipping. Now this is the gradient that is supposed to cut off our that. Let me first turn off bloom here. Okay, this gradient here. I think it should be subtract. Yeah, something like that. Now I can let's try power. Okay, let's see how much we have messed up here. Okay, so the fire is going back a bit too much. Need to bring it back. Okay, I think the fire and the streaks should use a different gradient. So this is our gradient. I just need to duplicate it so that the fire and the smoke use separate gradient. Now I can pull this fire a bit back without affecting the streak. Now I can pull the streak a bit forward, but make sure they don't clip. Now I think this should be fine. Turn off show back face here. Actually, we need that. And to make this even more realistic, we can add it's called a displacement modifier. Give it some noise or clouds, and animate that as well. Let's see, what should we animate about this? Okay, so we need to give this an object. So I'll just add an empty somewhere there, scale it a bit, and then select this, change this to object. Let me make sure this is recording. Sometimes it's too silent for me. Then select that. Now if I animate this, just add some keyframes there, then there. Let's make sure this is parented. Yes, change this to vector. We have an engine now, a fiery engine, but I don't like how this is blending in or intersecting with the engine. So what I'm going to do is go to the vertex group, add a new vertex group, and then select, let's see, let's go to the materials here. Let's isolate this for a second. I don't want this high. Let me first remove this auto-moth and make sure this is Shift N, recalculate normals, and also select this edge loop here, assign it a new vertex group, and go to this displacement, add that, and subtract it from that displacement so that we don't see that intersecting happening. Or we can even add a few polygons here, and I think can select that, go back to the vertex group, assign. I think we're good to go. Just going to bring this up. Now all is left is animating the engine, and this is supposed to be for a different project, for this project here. So let's group this into a collection. First time get rid of these lights, and I'm also going to add a light here. So so let's add an area light. Uh, Let me first turn off these keyframes. Yes, let's use an ellipse, I think, to get the same size. Just parent it. I'll make sure let's not add shadows. Just give it the colors, the color of the flames. Just parent this to that, and also duplicate it. Just use Alt D to make an instance of it. Right track, right back. Where are my textures? Let's give it a very strong value. Let's try 1,000. Now all we left with is that just group this into new collection. I'll just call this ship. Then so this is in new folder to object. Let me save this somewhere safe. Space ship. And now I can just import it here. File, link, find the spaceship, find the collection, find the ship, and we are in. I'll just scale it down to fit the size of our demo. Yeah, that's it. Thank you.